Hello everyone, this is Pratiksha here. Welcome to my channel, and I'm going to show you how to make this string bag today. It's made out of granny squares, and I'm going to show you how to use the join as you go method to make this string bag and how to assemble it along with the strings. So for this you will need to make 2 granny squares with 2 rows each to begin with. So I have made one here, so it should look like this. You need 2 of these with 2 rows of granny squares. And after you've done that, if you have got these 2 ready, then the next thing to do is pick up another color. Now this can be done in any of the yarns that you desire. It could be depending on the size you wish to make. I have used a Paintbox yarn here. It's a Paintbox Simply Chunky yarn, which uses a 6mm crochet hook. Now the colors that I've used in this one are Vintage Pink and Fudge. And for this one I've used Vintage Pink and I can't remember the name of this color, but I can pop it down into the description box. So please check the description box for that. So as you can see, I've got 2 of my granny squares here. One is without the border yet, and this one I've started doing my border. Now the granny square is just how you normally do your granny square. The chain space on the sides, I've only done 1 chain space. You can do 2 if you want to make it with larger holes, but I prefer the bag not to have very big holes, but depending on what you're making it for. So I've got 2 of these ready, and I've just, as you can see, I've just done the U shape for this one. So with my next color, I've done just my next row, but I have only done the 3 sides and not the 4th side in the U shape. So I've not increased here yet. But this is what you need to do when you are finished with your both granny squares in first color. To pick up your second color, and you're going to start making this shape, the 1 more row on the outside. So 3 clusters, 1 cluster means here in this pattern 3 trebles. So you need 3 clusters here, separated by a chain 1 here, and then you have another 3 clusters here, separated by chain 1 here, 3 clusters here, and every cluster is 3 trebles. And we are using the UK terminology here. So trebles means yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. So once you've done this bit here, we are going to start joining the other side. Now as you can see, you must find out which is your right side and wrong side. So this is my wrong side and this is my right side, and over here this is my right side and this is my wrong side. So I'm going to now start joining these 2 together. So once I finish the U shape here, I'm going to just lay this one down with the wrong side out on the top, and I'm going to lay the other square with the wrong side and the inside. I'm going to lay it on top of that. I'm going to pick my color that I'm doing my outside row with. So here I'm using my pink color. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this gap here. So I've just finished my last 3 clusters, 3 treble cluster, and I'm going to just turn it around and I'm going to go straight into this gap here. So yarn over, and you're going to go into this gap, make your 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to go, now you're going to the join as you go method. If you're going to do this method of join as you go, what you're going to do is you're going to go in the back here. So this gap from the back where you have your first cluster, you're just going to go underneath that gap, and then you're going to make a slip stitch. So you've just joined the first bit here. Now I'm going to continue doing my 3 trebles in the next gap into my top granny square, which I have not finished the border yet, that one. So my 3 trebles, and then I'm going to go into the back gap again and going to make my next slip stitch in there. So as you can see, it's all nicely aligned, and it's going to, by the end you come back on this side, the whole space, the whole of the three sides will be nicely connected. It'll be nicely neatly joined. So into the corner gap, I'm going to go make another 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to go into the back corner space and make a slip stitch over there. Then I'm going to come back into this gap again and make my 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. So I've just finished my corner and I also connected. Now if you forget to connect, then you probably have to just take it off and you have to go back to that space and do it. So make sure you're attentive and you're trying to connect it as you're going, because it's easy to forget. So you're going to now go into this gap here and make your slip stitch. Then I'm going to go into this gap here and do my next treble 3. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to now go into my next gap in the back and slip stitch. Now I've arrived at the corner space where I'm going to do my 3 trebles first. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you don't need to do a chain 1 here, because you're going to go straight into the back and make a slip stitch into the corner gap, and then you're going to go come back straight into this gap and make 3 trebles into that space. So I've just completed the corner. Now I'm going to carry on doing the same thing till I get to the end of this row. However, I still need to make sure I'm connecting with a slip stitch at the back of my completed granny square at the back, 3 trebles into the next gap, and every time I finish 3 trebles into the gap, I have to go at the back of the granny square in the other layer and make a slip stitch. Okay, now I'm in the corner and I've just got to make 3 trebles here. 1, 2, and 3. And now I need to connect these 2 together. For that, I'll do a chain 1, and I'm going to go in the top of this space of this chain here, first chain, and make a slip stitch on there. Okay, so we have just completed joining, and we have just joined it really nicely and neatly by using this method. And we are now going to do this space here where we're going to put our strings in later on. So for that, we are going to we're going to just go straight into, so now we're going to work on the top. So we're going to go around like that, and we're going to do 1 cluster here, 1 cluster here, 1 cluster here. Carry on the other side, 1 cluster here, here, and here. So 1 cluster means 3 trebles, and let me just show you how you actually do it. So I'm going to go into this gap now and make 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm only working on 1 layer now. I'm not going to be joining anything right now because I don't want to close this part. I need to keep it open. So I'm just doing my normal 3 trebles into every gap. So I need every gap to have a cluster. And we're not doing it on the sides because the sides don't need them. We're only going to have, so we're going to have a total of, so here I've got 1, 2, and 3 clusters. So again, 1, 2, and 3 clusters. like it should form like a proper square. And then when you get to the corner, you're going to just do a chain 1 and do double crochet here, the side corner. Then you're going to carry on doing your other side. So 3 trebles into this gap, 1, 2, and 3. And then there's one gap here where I'm going to do 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. And I have got one of this remaining here. I've got this space here where I'm going to do my last 3 trebles for this row, 1, 2, and 3. And I still need to connect this, so I'm going to do a chain 1 and I'm going to do my double crochet into this gap here. And I'm also going to do a slip stitch next to it into the next chain, just to kind of make it nice and neat. So I have completed my connecting of the 2 granny squares. For connecting, I've connected the 3 sides and I've left the top open. I will need to sew in these ends later on. But for now, let's continue doing the top. We've got 2 more rows here. One row is a treble row and another one on top. The last one will be a double crochet row. So for doing the treble row, we're just going to make a chain 2, and then every chain you see on the top, you're going to go into every chain and do a you're going to do a treble each. So this is my first one here, and I'm going to just go around simply like you normally do your trebles. So you're going to go under this chain and make my next treble. Again, go under this chain, make my next treble, and keep doing this till you get all the way around. You're doing only 1 treble in every chain. So now I'm getting here to the corner. I can do 1 here as well in this gap, and then I can do 1 in this space here as well, and into every chain I see I have to carry on doing 1 treble for this row. Okay, I'm coming to the end now. So I've just finished this one and I've still got this gap here. So I'm going to go into this gap and make a treble. And I'm just going to check if I've got any more chains. I think I've got this one here. So I'm going to do 1 here. And then I'm going to slip stitch on top of my first chain 2. And this way I have a nice row of trebles finished. Now I'm going to do the last row, which is the double crochet row. So chain 1 for double crochet and 1 double crochet into every chain, just like we did before. We did trebles just underneath this chain, underneath every chain. We're just going to go around this time and do 1 double crochet instead. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the row and we're going to then make a slip stitch onto the first chain. So this is our first chain of the row, and on top of that we're going to do a slip stitch to complete this row. Chain 1, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and it's going to pull this through like that so that it's nice and secure, and it creates a nice knot here so it's nice and secure. So this is how it will look without your strings attached. Now to attach the strings, what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 strings. They're just simply chains. So I would chain 35 approximately. If you want the string to be longer, then go ahead and make them slightly longer. And I'm going to use my green yarn for this. So let's get hold of the yarn and make a slip knot. And we're going to then make 35 chains. Now once you have done your 35 chains, you can always double check by checking if this is going to be the right size. So now this is going to, you just fold it in half like that and lay it down on your bag like that to just check, because it's going to go around, string around like that. So yeah, this is good. Maybe I'll make a few more extra ones. I just made extra 3, and then I'm just going to cut my yarn. And I'm going to pull this through like I normally do. So I've created my first string. Now I need 2 of these strings. So they're going to go around. I'm going to show you how to assemble it. So I'm going to make another 35 for this. Okay, I made my extra 3, which I did for my other string as well. I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to pull my hook through and make a nice knot. Okay, so we've got 2 of our strings now, and I'll show you how to now put this through. So we're going to start from this side. So as you can see, the strings, I have made a knot after I've just put them through. So you've got 2 strings. And you'll have 1 string going from here and back this way, and you knot it up here, and the other string going from here and you knot it up this way. Okay, so let's start doing one of them. So this is my one side. I'm going to start from here. So I'm just going to go into the gaps. So you see the granny square gaps. I'm just going to go in there. And I'm just going to string it in and out. I'm going to go in and out. So I'm going to go in again from here, and then I'm going to come out of this gap here. Then I'm going to go into this gap again and come out of this gap. And then I'm going to go back inside here and then go in here. Go out of here, I mean. So this way I've done one side, and I can then make sure it's nice and aligned, and then I can make a knot here. Make it nice and neat near where the chains are ending, and just tighten it up gently. That's it. Now I'm going to do the other side. So for that, I'm going to do it in a similar fashion. So this side, this time I'm going to start from this side because I want it to come back on this side. So this it's going to go through the same gaps. It's just from the side where it starts changes. I'm going to go in and out just like I did for the one before. So I'm going to go into every granny square gap. And I'm back on this side now. So I've just completed the stringing, and I'm going to just make sure it's nice and in the middle, and just going to knot this side now. So as you can see, one of my strings are on this side and the other one on this side, and I still got all these ends to sew in, which I can do in a minute. But make sure you can then cut your extra yarn from the strings to make it slightly shorter and manageable. And this is how it will look. After you've sewn in the ends, it will be much neater, so make sure you do that. And I hope you enjoyed this project, and let me know how it goes for you. If you have any questions, please pop them down and I will have a look at your questions. And I hope you enjoy this project. Thank you very much for watching.